First, last chance trips to go on to one of Kent's strangest excursions are selling out very fast. Since the Ministry of Defence announced it was going to take off the rusting masts of the SS Richard Montgomery in June, local companies have seen a rise in interest from tourists wanting to catch a glimpse of the historic wreck before it disappears forever. The American Liberty ship, thought to be carrying 1,400 tonnes of explosives, you did hear that right, 1,400 tonnes, has been shipwrecked in the Thames estuary since it sank. That was in 1944 during the Second World War. So we sent our reporter Annabelle Dry out on a tour with her sea legs to see the vessel in Queenborough and, of course, find out more for you.
We're driving up towards a ring of buoys. It is absolutely freezing. The sea is really, really choppy. But in front of me, there's a buoy and it says danger on it. There's a ring of them that all say the words danger. And in the middle of them are 3 masts, one slightly taller than the others.
It says danger, explosives, keep off.
We are safe here, aren't we?
I hope so. Hi there, my name's Alan. I'm the captain of the ex-pilot vessel, and we're now approaching the wreck of the Richard Montgomery, which was an American ammunition ship.
There's something really eerie about being here, just knowing that there's hundreds of bombs underneath the water, just metres from us. What would happen if the bombs were to go off now?
They say if it did explode, it would be the biggest non-nuclear explosion in the country. And a tidal wave could carry up to London and certainly could do a lot of damage on the Isle of Sheppey and Southend as well.
Wow. Do you ever get scared coming out here? You know, you're out on your boat pretty much every day. Does that not worry you?
Not really, no. I think it's fairly safe, really, but the authorities have been under pressure for a long while to do something about it. So this is what their idea is, to cut the masts off. You know, just stop them falling onto the cargo.
So tell me a bit more about the tours that you run at the moment.
We've been running the tours out to the wreck and to the towers for 20 years, really.
How much of an increase have you seen in trips to come and see this boat?
Massive increase. I mean, January would be fairly quiet for us, with the odd trip here and there. But all of a sudden, there's been a lot of interest, and because they realise the masts are not going to be there for much longer.
It's kind of terrifying, but also a little bit thrilling. Imagine just something like bangs against it, and what would happen?
I mean, now that I'm quite close to it, I feel a little bit more nervous than I did earlier on. It makes it a lot more real. Just thinking about the amount of explosives on it is quite scary.
Not worried at all. It's been down there for 77 years now. All the ammo and that lot that's down there is all sunk into the mud by now.
Oh, let's get out of this wind here. It's a bit cold. Let's go up to the bridge, eh?
Tell me again how the SS Montgomery ended up shipwrecked here.
It happened in 1944 when what they call the QHM, Queen's Harbour Master, which is what the Harbour Master would be in wartime, who was based in Southend Pier, and he instructed the captain of the Montgomery to anchor in a place, and the local Harbour Master in Sheerness said that's not a good place to anchor, and he was right, and the ship ran aground overnight and broke its back on the sandbank. And
it seems amazing that, you know, such hazardous cargo was just left abandoned back then, so close to civilization here. It's just incredible, isn't it?
they took off the cargo off the top, the easy cargo, but it was wartime, and they just took the attitude when the war was over, somebody would sort the problem out. And they just sort of left it, and nobody ever did sort it out. There's several 2,000-pound bombs and 1-ton bombs in there, blockbuster bombs in there, and torpedoes and all sorts of things.
You know, there's something quite chilling about standing here, staring at that wreck and the masts, talking about how many explosives there are under the water there.
You never be worried. Can't be, can you, really?
Our reporter Annabelle Dry there in the Thames Estuary. Well, let's talk now to Flo McEwen, World War II military historian and Thames Estuary local guide as well. Flo, welcome to the Wake Up Call. It's fascinating. I mean, what a piece of history on our doorstep. Can I just check? I mean, Annabelle is safely back, but is there a danger that it could blow?
Good morning, Anna. It is indeed a fantastic location, isn't it? What a massive piece of history right on our doorsteps. Is it safe? That's the million-dollar question. Yeah. We just do not know, and that's one of the reasons why this has been such an enigma over the years, because there's so much speculation. We've never really been in this position before, but if you think about what happens when maybe somebody goes into their back garden and finds a Second World War bomb. They literally evacuate the whole area, don't they?
Yes.
So imagine what we've got out there at sea, just sitting off the coast of Sheerness, really close to some oil refineries. And we just do not know. And that's why after all this time, the ship's been regularly surveyed. And the point has come now where we feel something has to be done. And that is the removal of the masts, which what the worry is that the masts are deteriorating now. The photographs, certainly, that I've taken in the past few years are showing a deterioration. If those masts do collapse onto the ship itself, that could unsettle things, and who knows what might happen.
Indeed. And is it the case then that there are just too many explosives down there to go and, do a very clever diffusement, if that's the right word? People can do diving, can't they, and go and sort these things out?
I think that sounds very easy. The reality of bringing that to fruition is a whole different matter altogether. When the ship itself is quite unstable, the visibility down there is appalling. That most of the ship is obviously probably encased in mud and silt over the years as well. To go and do that in clear water would, I think, be challenging enough. To do it out there on the estuary, I think is probably just a bit too much.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to do it, put it that way.
Yeah, I'm not signing up either, no. Oh, it's enough to give you nightmares. And obviously, we need to take the mask off for the safety reasons that you outlined, Flo. But isn't there a part of you that's a bit sad because they show us where the boat is? They tell a story, don't they? And as Annabelle said in her piece there, it's quite a chilling sight.
As a photographer, I think they're absolutely beautiful. There is something really mysterious and ghostly about going out there. I've been out there in so many different types of weather, glorious sunshine, misty, murky days, and all you see is these ghostly masts. And they are beautiful. And they're home to hundreds and hundreds of cormorants as well. You see them sitting on the danger sign, which I think is quite ironic. Keep off danger. And there's the bird sitting on the top proudly. I will be really, really sorry to see them go, as I think a lot of locals will as well. And the thing we don't know at this point is what is actually going to happen to the masts. I haven't heard what they're planning to do with them. And there's lots of discussion, and we do hope that somehow they will be maybe put on display somewhere along the coast that people can go and see them up close finally.
Yeah, I think so. And do you think the boat will remain down there forever? I'm thinking it was, hundreds of years before the Mary Rose was dragged up. Do you think one day it might end up in a museum?
Well, never say never. I mean, it would be wonderful if they are. I mean, when you think how many of these vessels were built, there's about 2,700 of them were built during the war, mostly by women, ironically. And there's only 3 surviving to this day, 2 of which are in museums. So it would be wonderful, wouldn't it, if it could be brought to the surface one day somehow, and then we could actually see it for real. But, the explosives, are they going to neutralize them? Could they encase the wreck to make it more secure? Lots of different, things have been considered over the years, but there is no plan at the moment that I'm aware of, certainly, to actually raise her up. I hope they do one day, though. Wouldn't that be great?
You never know. Yes, exactly. So how long have people got then to see the mast before they're gone forever?
Not long. I mean, the plan is June. I think they're planning to start the removal in June because, hopefully the weather will be better then, the waters will be clearer to make the job easier for the guys that are going out there to do it. So, I mean, this is why there's been a surge in bookings now to go and see her, which is brilliant. But yeah, I mean, I've been going out there a long, long time, and I went out there recently. I took the boat out at low tide, just as the sun was setting over the masts, and it was absolutely beautiful. So don't leave it too long.
Go and get your photos while you still can.
Absolutely. Very much so.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Flo, lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. That's Flo McEwen then, World War II military historian and Thames Estuary local guide.